Hey everybody, Jim here with another video for you. This is a response to a tag video from Kenny over at Kenny's Movie Palace with his top 5 international films. But before I begin, at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please consider giving me a thumbs up, but more importantly, please give me a comment. Let me know how you feel about my picks. Let me know what some of your favorite international films are. Now, as I said, this is a response to a tag video that my good friend Kenny at Kenny's Movie Palace sent out. He tagged me in this video, and he was originally tagged from our mutual friend from the UK, Roy, over at Blue Roy Movies. And the idea was to come up with 5 international films that you really enjoy. And as far as I know, the only uh, things involved were that you couldn't include any films from the UK or any American films. And just being a tongue-in-cheek bastard I am, I asked Kenny, what about Canadian films? What about Australian films? Or was it strictly just foreign language films? He told me that he didn't think Canadian films would apply because, that's more or less North America, just like, America and in English. But Australia, and these are Kenny's words, not mine, Australian is a foreign language to him, so those would apply. But again, I figured that the whole idea here was that it was supposed to be foreign language films or non English speaking films. But again, being an asshole that I am, I have to go a little bit big. So I'm throwing in a couple of honorable mentions. From Canada, The Silent Partner, starring Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer in one of his absolute best roles, directed by Daryl Duke. This movie is fantastic. I have talked about this movie before on the channel. This is one of my favorite films from the 70s. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favor. Seek this movie out and check it out. It's awesome. And from Australia, Richard Franklin's Road Games, which was released in 1981, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and, in a career best performance, in my opinion, Stacy Keach. This is literally Rear Window in a semi-truck. Richard Franklin was a huge acolyte of Alfred Hitchcock. Totally idolized everything that Hitchcock ever did, and you could see it in his filmography, like Road Games, like Psycho 2. Um, Sadly, Richard Franklin's no longer with us, but Road Games is a solid film, and like I said, Stacy Keach, as far as I'm concerned, has never been better. Okay, let's get into the 5 films proper now. Now, these films coming up are all different languages other than English. They are from different genres, and they are from all over the world. And I did not put them in any order, like, top ranked from 5 to 1 or anything like that. But what I did do is I put them in chronological order, and we're going to start from the newest films and work our ways back. Okay, so the newest film that I'm going to mention is from Indonesia. It's from 2018, and it's called The Night Comes for Us. This is a Netflix film that I loved so much, I had to go out and get a bootleg. And man, this movie is great. And this is actually a pretty decent bootleg, as you can see. But anyways, this movie's from Indonesia. It was directed by Timo. And please, I'm going to butcher some names coming up, so please bear with me. Timo Tajasanto, and it stars Joe Taslim and Iko Uwais, who also were in The Raid. Originally, I had the 2 Raid films included on my list, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper, and this movie does not get the love it deserves. If you have Netflix, I cannot stress enough, check this movie out, okay? If you don't have Netflix, go on eBay and get a bootleg of this movie. It's worth a blind buy. I'm telling you, this movie kicks all forms of ass. It is extremely graphic, but man, is it great. It really is. If you're a fan of the Raid films, you're going to love this film. So the first selection on this list is 2018's The Night Comes for The Night Comes for Us from Indonesia. Next, from 2007, from Spain, we have Rec, or Record, I guess, if you want to go that route. I do not like found footage movies. This one is one of the exceptions. This movie was directed by Jaime Balaguer. I'm going to butcher some names, so bear with me. Jaime Balaguero and Paco Plaza. And it stars Manuela Velasco and Pablo Russo, among others. And if you ever saw the movie Quarantine, starring Jennifer Carpenter, that is a direct remake of this film. The gist of this film is you're following a news crew from a local news station that happened to be in a fire station, spending 24 hours with the fire crew. They go on call to a apartment building, and all hell breaks loose. And they get quarantined inside the building because there's some virus turning people into maniac zombies. I don't even know how to describe them. Again, not a huge fan of the found footage genre. This one is one of the exceptions. It's done extremely well. The sequel to this is even better. They made 4 of these films altogether. I own the box set from Scream Factory, and I do enjoy all 4, but the first 2 are a cut above. And like I said, if you're a fan of Quarantine, like I am, this movie's better. It is just fantastic on every level. So the second selection on this list is 2007's Wreck. Our next selection from 2002 from Brazil. We are going with one of my favorite films from the last 25 years, City of God. This movie is a masterpiece in my opinion. This movie was directed right there by Fernando Meirelles, who was nominated for Best Director for the Academy Awards. He did not win. And this movie stars Alexandre Rodriguez and Leandro Firmino, among others. And this is a crime drama based on a true story. You're following this group of kids in the worst slums possible in Rio. And you follow them for about 10 years from when they're children up until their late teens, early 20s, and the paths that they take. And my God, this movie is brutal. It's beautiful. It's funny. It's horrific. It's just an incredible, incredible film. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Again, like I said earlier, this is one of the best films from the last 25 years. By far. It's just an incredible, incredible film, in my opinion. So, the third pick on this list from Brazil, 2002's City of God. Moving right along to 1981 from Germany. The incredible Wolfgang Petersen's World War II epic, Das Boot. Directed by Wolfgang Petersen and starring Jürgen Prochnow and Herbert Grönemeyer, among others. This movie's awesome in every way. This is one of the best World War II movies ever made. Definitely one of the best submarine movies ever made. This might have been the first foreign film I ever saw. It was definitely the first foreign film I ever saw theatrically. And it was also the first World War II film that I ever saw where you're following a German crew as opposed to somebody in the Allies. And not only are they sympathetic, but you actually root for these guys. Because again, they're not your stereotypical Nazis that you would find in most World War II movies. They're not. They're just soldiers out on a mission just like anybody else. And things go from bad until worse. And then human nature just kicks in. And the acting and the performances and the writing is so good that regardless of what your nationality is, you become invested in these people. And you care. And it's got one of the best endings ever. I won't go into it without giving it away, but once you've seen this movie, you will never forget the ending. So the fourth selection is Wolfgang Petersen's World War II epic, Das Boot, from Germany, from 1981. And now we're really going to cheat here because you're going to get 6 movies for the price of one. And I'm talking about, from Japan, Lone Wolf and Cub. It's a series of 6 films. Right here, I will break them in or show you what they are. But from 1972, 1 year, you get the first 4 installments of this series: Sword of Vengeance, Baby Cart at the River Styx, Baby Cart to Hades, and Baby Cart in Peril. 1973, you get Baby Cart in the Land of Demons. And then it wraps up in 1974 with White Heaven and Hell. But wait, there's more. In 1980, Shogun Assassin was released, which is literally half of the first movie and half of the second movie jammed together with a totally new dub, and it doesn't make a lick of sense. They added a different soundtrack from Rick Wakeman, and it's insane. But we're going to go a little more into detail with these movies because these movies are incredible. This is my Criterion Collection box set, in case you didn't notice. And again, you follow this samurai. He starts off as the shogun's executioner, who basically gets screwed. They kill his wife and his whole clan, and him and his little baby boy go off on adventures together, and the little boy is in a little cart. Sorry if I'm having problems with this damn book. Okay, here we go. Let me open this up a little bit better so it'll stay open. And I'll zoom in on some of the craziness that ensues in these films. Anybody who has seen Kill Bill will immediately relate to these films. As a matter of fact, they even mention Shogun Assassin in Kill Bill. But here's the actual films. The Sword of Vengeance, like I said, that came out in 1972, and it was directed by Kenji Masumi. And the star of all these films, I should say, is Tomasaburo Wakayama, who plays Ito Ogomi, the main character. And the little boy is Akihiro Tomikawa, and he plays the Gero, the cub. But anyways, the second film came out in the same year, same director, Kenji Masumi, who also directed the third film. And then the fourth film, for whatever reason, which also came out in 1972, Baby Cart in Peril, was directed by Buchi Saito, a different director. And this movie does have a different feel to it than the other three, but it's really good. And then he came back and directed The Land of Demons, which is the fifth film in the series. And then in the sixth film and final film, White Heaven and Hell, was directed by Yoshiyuki Kuroda. And then, like I said, Shogun Assassin came out in 1980, which is just batshit crazy. That was actually my introduction to this series. I saw Kill Bill. They mentioned Shogun Assassin. I saw Quentin Tarantino talk about Shogun Assassin, and I just, during the pandemic, as a matter of fact, I bought a bootleg DVD of it, fell in love with it, and then found out that it was actually part of this incredible set of films from Japan, the Lone Wolf and Cub series, which is basically an old manga series. I should have said that. But these films they are incredible. If you've never seen them, please check them out. Here in the States, like I said, there's this great set from Criterion. I'm sure you could probably get these films overseas. If they're not in a set, you could probably get them, individually. But again, if you've never seen these films, I cannot recommend them enough. They are just so much fun. So anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I want to thank Kenny over at Kenny's Movie Palace for tagging me into this video. It was a nice, fun topic. It was fun to get back into this. And what the hell, I'm going to tag a couple of guys too. But I think we'll jump back overseas for my tag. So I'm going to tag my good friend Daniel over at Frank's Collecting Castle and Carlos at Eastwood for Life Fan. And I will drop their links in the description below, as well as Kenny and Roy's as well. And since I got you here, I also want to say, please, if you haven't done so already, check out all these channels, subscribe to them. And on Tuesday, the 7th of April, we're going to be doing the next episode of Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. Our very special guest will be Larry from Larry the Horcat Dad. And we're going to be doing 5 adventure films that we feel are overlooked or forgotten. And that one's going to be a lot of fun. We were supposed to do that one a couple of weeks ago, but as you know, with my mother and the passing, we had to postpone it. So hopefully you'll join us on the 7th. You can watch that live or on replay, either at Sean's channel at Movie Assault or on the Talking Movies 2024 channel, which is the channel for Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. I'm going to leave those links below as well as Larry's as well. Once again, I want to thank everybody for sticking with me this far, and we'll catch you on the next one.